We're ready. Well, good morning and welcome to everyone. My name is Jerry Curran and I am the co-chair of the Newcastle Democratic Committee. It's my pleasure this morning to announce the slate of 3 candidates to run for the Newcastle Town Board and 1 candidate to run for the position of the town judge in November. The endorsed candidates are as follows. For the office of Town Supervisor, Ms. Kristen Browde. For the position of the Town Board, Ms. Ivy Poole. And for the position of the other Town Board seat, Ms. Gail Markells. And then for the position of the Town Judge, the Honorable Noah Sorkin. All of these candidates have lived in Newcastle for many years and have either educated their children or are in the process of educating their children. They are well informed on town issues, county and federal issues, and have a vision of renewal, of transparency, and of honest listening to all citizens of the town. They all share our democratic values and want to work hard in conjunction with our colleagues on the Democratic line who were elected 2 years ago. They are town board members Hala McCoskey as well as Jeremy Salam. Once elected, we will return our town board to the majority of the Democratic Party. We also will ensure very strong government and an administration that we all can be very proud of here in Newcastle. I would like to ask each of the candidates to say a few words. So let's start with our current town judge, the Honorable Noah Sorkin. Noah?
Good morning, everybody. I am honored and humbled and privileged to be the Democratic nominee to continue as town judge. I'm presently completing my 5th year on the bench here in Newcastle. It has been a tremendous privilege to serve, and I look forward to continuing the work of the court. I am very proud of the way our court works, the way it handles its cases, and the fact that the laws are applied effectively not only to protect our community, but to safeguard the rights of individuals that come and live here or come through our town. So I want to thank Jerry Curran, and I want to thank the Newcastle Democrats for this honor. I look forward to continuing the service. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, I'd like to invite Ivy to come up and say a few words. Ivy?
Hi, my name is Ivy Poole, and I'm running for the town board. You've all received a copy of our press release in which you can read about my professional qualifications to serve on the town board. But what I wanted to share with you today, my 2 greatest accomplishments, are not going to be found on my resume. They're my kids, Matthias and Alexandra, ages 8 and 6, who attend Grafflin Elementary School. And as proud as I am of my record of service in state and local government, I'm equally proud of the 3 years during which I was a stay-at-home mom raising my 2 kids here in our community. As a young family, my husband and I chose to move to the town of Newcastle for the same reasons that I think a lot of people choose to move to our town. Our excellent school systems, our easy access to nature, hiking and cycling being 2 of our favorite activities, the safety and security of our community, and the easy commute into New York City. Those are the things that brought us here. But what keeps us here, and in fact what I think keeps a lot of families here, even after their kids age out of the school system, is the strong sense of community that we all share. It's the feeling of belonging. It's the feeling that this is our home. But at the same time, change is coming to Newcastle. We can look at our surrounding communities. Indeed, we can look at the plans for development that we have here in our own community. We need leadership in town hall that knows how to lead and manage through change, and how to do so in a way that's consistent with the values and beliefs that brought us and keep us in this town. Getting back to my resume for a moment, I have a lifelong career in public service and a deep passion for government innovation. I've led large public sector transformation projects in both the Cuomo and Bloomberg administrations. I know how to take a project from a good idea and see it through to a completed product. And I believe that our good ideas are not only found here at Town Hall, but as one of our favorite residents likes to say, it takes a village. And so that's why in the coming days, weeks, months, and hopefully years, I intend to meet with as many residents as possible to hear your good ideas and start to think together about how to bring them to fruition. I never expected to run for political office, but I think like a lot of women, I feel personally motivated by recent political events. I feel a strong sense of responsibility to step up and do my part to ensure responsible, open, and transparent governance here in our hometown. I am so proud to be a part of this ticket. Together, and with all of you, we will build a vision for a stronger and better Newcastle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivy, and welcome to politics. I'd like to now introduce Gail. Gail, please.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Gail Markels, and I'm running for a seat on the Newcastle Town Board. I'm running for office because I want Newcastle to be the kind of community our children move back to raise their families. My daughter Elizabeth and son-in-law Peter are looking for a home in Newcastle, and I want to make sure that our children have a wonderful place to grow up in. This means working to ensure that Newcastle continues to have great schools, an open and transparent town government, an inclusive and welcoming community with vibrant hamlets that include exciting places to shop, dine, and meet that strengthen our community. The November elections were a wake-up call to me to step up and get involved in the local government because local government impacts our lives every day. I am excited to be part of a team of such talented and smart and accomplished women. We cannot wait to hit the campaign trail and make Newcastle blue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gail. I'd like to now introduce the next supervisor of the town of Newcastle, Ms. Kristen Browde. Kristen.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you to the Newcastle Democrats. This year and for each of the next 3 years, we're going to face elections that are all about change. That's pretty obvious. When it comes to making a change and managing a change, that's something I know a little bit about. I moved here from Lower Manhattan, down near Wall Street, back in 2004. Newcastle looked like a wonderful place to raise my 2 sons, schools that are competitive with the best in the nation, and a beauty and harmony with nature that stole my downtown heart in a minute. But over the past 4 years, I've watched with increasing dismay while the other towns around us recovered from the financial meltdown of 2008. Our town stagnated. It's stuck in neutral or even worse. We've heard all sorts of excuses, all sorts of promises, but what we haven't seen is results. I'm running for town supervisor to change that. During my 4 decades as a reporter, I was precluded from being in politics. None of you can, and I couldn't either. But even back then, I was an activist. I was elected to the National Board of Directors of many of your union, AFTRA. I served on its executive board and its strategy cabinet. I was elected again as a trustee of the health and pension funds, getting the training necessary to work on its investment committee, where we managed a little over $2.2 billion of your money. When in 2013 I left the news business, I put that knowledge to work, joining the Chappaqua School System's Financial Advisory Committee. When the town here formed a board of ethics, I was named a member and elected its secretary. And at the same time, I was working on some very personal changes. Not really in who I was, because as those of you who knew me back then know, that hasn't really changed. I'm still very much the same person. Though now I do part my hair on the other side. And I have to tell you, I didn't expect people to get that excited about it. But seriously, when all is said and done, I'm just hopefully better looking, better dressed, and a lot happier than I used to be. And more importantly, I'm totally energized and fired up about bringing change to this town, the kind of change that this town needs. After coming out, I was elected to the board of directors of the LGBT Bar Association of Greater New York, and I helped start the Transgender Bar Association, I've worked with charities and civic organizations. I still sit on the AFTRA Pension Fund's board. The health fund, as some of you know, is merged into the SAG-AFTRA Health Fund, and we serve 122,000 members around the nation, giving them the kind of affordable health care that people expect and people deserve. I worked on the committee that managed the merger of SAG-AFTRA, two giant unions that are now together and stronger together. You'll hear a lot about stronger together in this town, and it's all right. Now I sit on the town's Inclusion and Diversity Committee. In each of these organizations, we've dealt with competing interests and desires. I do that as a lawyer, too. I'm a divorce lawyer. You see people come into my office, they're at the worst times of their life. They're fighting with each other. They can't reach resolution. Bringing them together and getting them to a place where there's consensus. They may not love the deal, but they're going to escape with their dignity and as much of their finances intact as possible. That's what I do. And it's no different in town government. That's what you do. People have differing views. You bring them together. I got involved in politics in the Clinton campaign. I went to North Carolina. When you can get a trans woman to go door to door in North Carolina, you know that's someone who's not going to back down from anything. And there were more than 30 trans men and women who went down there to work for Hillary Clinton. And we didn't win our ultimate goal, but we did get rid of a governor who promoted the infamous HB 2, an anti-transgender law. We got rid of the Attorney General. Both of those seats are now Democratic, and that is an accomplishment of which we are very, very proud. But then, like the 70% of the voters in this town, and almost that high a number all across New York State, we found ourselves wondering, what the heck do we do now? Groups like Indivisible and Up to Us sprang up with the answer: start local and build. Be the change you want to see. Take back this country, starting at the town level and working one town at a time. In 4 years, the Republicans in this town haven't gotten it done. But now we're here to tell them there's a new team in town. And come November, 216 days from now, we're going to take back this town. We're going to make it stronger. We're going to build, as Ivy said, where she is. We're going to start by listening to the people in this town, same way our leading citizen did, going to listen, going door to door to every citizen in this town, hearing what they have to say about the problems and the change they want to bring. And that's when we know that this town will indeed become a stronger place. Thank you for being here. In a minute, I'll take questions, but before I do, I want to turn to these people back here, the people from Up to Us and Indivisible. You are the reason we're running. Up to Us and Indivisible are the ones who said to me, do this. We're not tired, we know you're not tired. We've got 216 days to make a difference. We're going to do it together. Thank you. There's another really distinguished guy who's sitting there. He's our amazing legislator from our district, and he happens to be the chairman of this county's legislature. And we are honored to have Mike Kaplowitz with us. Come on up, Mike.
Thank you. For a brief comment, I usually don't face this many cameras. It's nice to be here in Newcastle for sure. I am officially running for re-election as a county legislator. It's the county and the towns that are up this year, federal and state, in the even years, and I'm proud to be a Newcastle Democrat, proud to stand with this ticket. And our job each and every year is to put forward a positive agenda, a positive viewpoint, and positive solutions to the many problems that we all face at the county and the town level. And I look forward to running with this ticket and presenting ourselves in the best possible fashion so that the most individuals as possible select us to continue to govern in some cases or to govern in others. So thank you very much for the chance to say a few words. And this is a very positive, real energetic kickoff. And if it bodes anything for the future, I think it bodes success. So all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to take the questions. Lou.
The last time we were up here, they were talking about changing the name of the town to match its larger identity from Newcastle to Chappaqua. Where are you on that?
Over the next weeks and months, we're going to be getting very specific and very granular and coming out with positions on all sorts of issues. First thing we're going to do is listen. They made a decision not to do that. That may be one of the things we look at. But there are other things much more important than the name of the town. What goes on in the town. That's the change we want to bring.
When we came up here, the thing we heard about was if you lower the taxes, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, taxes are high, Westchester County. Can you really operate within the tax cap?
That's clearly what this town has operated within the tax cap. This town is facing a small tax increase in the next year. This town also has a really healthy reserve, and that's one of the things we're going to be looking at. Whether that reserve has now reached the level that it's no longer important to raise taxes, or whether we can actually lower taxes, at least in part of the town goes. Now, the county taxes, where's Mike? Mike's over there. The county taxes, we obviously don't control. The state taxes, we obviously don't control. But managing this town's money, that's something we're all about. You know, Ivy ran a $500 million project. Our town's budget is $37.5 million. I sit on a $2.2 billion pension funds board. When it comes to managing money, we know how to do that. We're gonna do that.
Now, if you have, and one last question,
Sure.
if you have a reserve, and what has the previous administration done that was wrong that you want to correct?
The question is the size of that reserve. Is it too much? I mean, look, if we've got so much in reserve that we don't really need a tax increase, why are we having a tax increase? Why don't we reevaluate and see whether, in fact, this, in essence, tax-free loan that the taxpayers are giving the town isn't needed? I mean, we got things we want to do, and it's great to have reserves. It's much better than the alternative. But do we have too much? That's one of the things we'll look at. Yes, ma'am.
Can we talk about affordable housing a little bit and the process, that, the arduous process
It's been going on forever here, hasn't it?
And what's next? What's on the agenda? How will you be managing that to bring affordable housing properly to Newcastle?
That's something that, as you know, is changing from minute to minute. The town has issued the final final building permit for the project known as Conifer. What state that will be in by the time we take office, we don't know. But when we do, we'll have to deal with whatever the situation is. And if that project is built, and if families are moved in, they're talking about 28 families now, we're going to welcome them to our town, make them feel welcome here, and make sure that they're safe here. Yes, ma'am.
Climate change, it's real.
Yeah, somebody ought to tell the guys in Washington that.
I understand, and on a local level, because local is so important now, will you be working with the town boards and with the town to get the word out, to educate, to build resilience? Because we were really swamped here after hurricane, using a bad word, but Superstorm Sandy really knocked us for a loop. And our preparedness, while they started things in motion, we really need to continue being resilient and prepare. What will you guys ladies do to work with us on that?
We're going to do exactly what you said, because that's exactly right. This town has done virtually nothing to be more prepared if there's another Sandy. And there are natural things we can do, and there are infrastructure things we can do. We're going to have to look at all of that based on what's the situation when we take office in January. And you can bet that we're going to work. We may not, one little town may not be able to change the climate of the world, but we sure as heck can start. Yes.
One of the larger issues in this town is downtown revitalization that we're getting that going. They're in the final stages, current board of taking the master plan or comprehensive plan. What would you do to do a better job of what you would like to see?
Do you remember how long that master plan's been supposedly coming? People have been told, you can't do this because it doesn't match the master plan. We don't have a master plan. We haven't had a master plan for 4 years. They've had 4 years to get it done. They haven't gotten it done. That kind of a delay doesn't make sense to me. Yes, sir.
So obviously we've seen a lot of attention that you're transgender.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you seem to be running away from. What's your argument to people who may not be able to get past this?
I'm not running away from it at all. It's right out there. And obviously people are going to care about it. But here's the thing. My being transgender won't balance a budget. It won't fill a pothole. It won't make the lives of the people in this town better. What I do in office, that will. It's not about whether you're transgender, whether you're right-handed, left-handed, blonde, brunette. It's about what you do. It's what people do. It's what you can bring together. Yeah, I'm different than most people in this town, but I'm very much the same as everyone in this town. I want this town to be a better place, a stronger place, a good place to raise children. I'm raising a seventh grader in Seven Bridges Middle School right now. My older son is 17, he's studying abroad, but he's going to come home to check the block. I want this to be a good town, a welcoming town, an inclusive town. I want it to be everything that every one of our citizens wants it to be. And that's got nothing to do with me being trans or not.
So why you?
Because they asked me. No, look. Each of us does what we're motivated to do, what they can do. My life, even when I was a reporter, was about working within my union to make things better for the other reporters and the actors who are members of AFTRA and now SAG-AFTRA. Since I've been out of that business and freed of those restrictions, I've been working on town boards, town committees. This is just a continuation of that work. Yes, sir.
I'm from a neighboring town. What do you think about some of the consolidation of services for some of the executives?
Well, you're wearing the right jacket. I like that jacket. I'm also the chairman of the local alumni association with Cornell, and we interview high school seniors who want to go there. Peter's on that committee. I didn't recognize Peter. The answer to your question is, if it makes sense, we'll do it.
How big a motivating factor was the national election here? This is Hillary's hometown, and you have somebody who's running the place and ran on the Republican ticket.
Obviously, all three of us were stunned and disappointed in what happened in November. All three of us marched on January 21st in Washington and New York. 7 million strong, we marched. January 29th, 8 days later, was the meeting of Indivisible in Westchester, at which we found 40 or 50 members of this community. And they were the ones who said to me, run. And I said, are you sure? And they said, yes. I thought about it, and I talked to the Newcastle Democrats, and I said, okay. I don't want to, Gail and Ivy will have their own answers to this, but you rebuild, you retake the government from the town up, and that's what we're going to do.
Your opponent is a registered Democrat.
Yeah. A Democrat.
So what makes you different?
Well, I'm not going to be the Democrat endorsing right-wing Republicans up and down the ticket. I'm not going to be the Democrat running from being a Democrat, never putting on anything in my campaign that I'm a Democrat. I'm going to be the Democrat out there working to make sure that there are Democrats elected at every level of government. That's what we did in North Carolina. That's what Gail did in Pennsylvania. That's what Ivy's done. It's easy to check a box on a form in White Plains. As a reporter for 40 years, in fact, when Jerry, there it is, when Jerry and I started talking about this, I said, I'm not a Democrat. Because as a reporter, I couldn't be a member of a party. I wasn't a member of a party. I was unaffiliated the entire time. He said, we can fix that. We did. I'm a Democrat. I'm proud to be a Democrat. And I'm a Democrat who works for other Democrats, not for right-wing Republican state senators, not for right-wing Republican Trump-loving county executives. I'm a Democrat who, up and down the line, is going to support Democratic candidates.
The historic nature of this candidacy, is that significant to you?
I'm sorry?
The historic nature of this candidacy.
Of course. It's an honor, it's a responsibility. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. People don't recognize it because what they know of Stonewall was the movie. In fact, Stonewall was started by 3 trans women of color who were tired of being harassed. Those three women are never far from my thoughts. They stood up, risked losing everything, including their lives, and one of them did lose her life. That's a responsibility. People say to me all the time, people aren't necessarily going to know you're trans. Why be visible? Why be out there? And the answer to that's simple. By being visible, by not hiding my past, I may help some other person who comes after me from not hiding their future. And that's something I take very seriously.
Are you the first? You know that, or?
There are 8 transgender elected officials in the United States. I think one is a town council member in Ramparts, California. There are 3 school board members. There is a constable up in Massachusetts. There's a mayor of a small town in Texas who came out after she was elected and has stayed elected. And there's one amazing Superior Court judge in Los Angeles who I know, Vicki Kolakowski. She's a fabulous person. And this year, I'm aware of probably 10 transgender candidates around the nation for various positions, none of whom have yet to win, obviously, neither has I. And in New York State, I'm told, although I don't know this as a fact, that I'm the first transgender candidate to have the endorsement of a major party, for which I am truly honored. And I'm just going to try not to screw it up for the rest of them, Anybody else? If not, Gail and Ivy, Rock, I am so honored to be with you, and I'm looking forward to doing this together. We're going to do this. Thank you all for coming. If there's anything y'all need.